Hi, in this video I wanted to teach you something that, whilst not directly related to the practice of hypnotherapy, will greatly improve your skills as a hypnotherapist or an NLP practitioner, and that's the ability to memorize things easily. One of the things I did many years ago, back in about 1990, I read a book called How to Develop the Perfect Memory by someone called Dominic O'Brien. Now, at that time, Dominic O'Brien was the world's memory champion. And in this particular book, there's a lot of different strategies to teach you how to memorize huge amounts of information, right, from historical dates to foreign languages to the order and sequence of a pack of cards, but also to learn speeches and things like this. And if you understand this method, you can learn how to memorize inductions, you can learn how to memorize NLP techniques or hypnosis protocols really simply. And you can literally just look at the page, and if there's, like, I don't know, 10 steps in the technique or the induction or whatever, you're going to be able to learn that really quickly and easily and commit it to memory, so that you don't need to be sitting there with a piece of paper or referring to notes all the time. That way you can really interact with your client and be there present. You don't have to be sitting there looking at your notes or wondering what you need to do next. So this is a really powerful method, as I say, not necessarily related to hypnosis per se, but will really improve your skills as you're learning more and more about hypnosis and NLP. And this particular method, which I learned from Dominic O'Brien, and it's not his original method, it's one that's been around for thousands of years, comes under loads of different names, but the easiest way of thinking about it, it's called the journey method. And in the journey method, what you do is you have a specific journey with a specific number of steps on it, depending on what you want to remember. And at each one of those steps, you create a bizarre image that helps you to remember what it is you're going to remember. And the key is, it's got to be bizarre. It's got to be memorable. I mean, I think about it. If you were like to walk down your road today, and if you suddenly met up with this clown with big orange hair and the big squeaky boots, and the guy came up and slapped you in the face with a custard pie, you're going to remember that. You're not going to forget that. So when something is bizarre, it becomes memorable. So what we're going to do is we're going to use our powers of imagination to create memorable hooks that we can use on this particular journey and link the two things together. Now, a couple of days ago, I posted a video on an Erickson question induction, which has got 9 steps in it. And what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at this induction and then apply this memory technique to it. And so by the end of this video, you'll have a strategy that you can be able to remember this induction really easily. But not just this induction, because you'll be able to apply it to any other protocol or NLP technique, that you'll be able to memorize every single one of them. Now, I say this because after I learned this particular strategy, I went off and did my NLP trainers training. And as part of the trainers training, as long as the actual training itself, you have to perform demonstrations, show that you understand all the materials, but also there's a 250 question and answer test. Because I knew the test was coming, I went through all the manuals, memorized every single technique, every single step, using a variety of these journey methods. And as a result, I got 100% right. And that's not because I'm clever. That's because I memorized it. And if you get this, you can memorize anything. This doesn't require intelligence or anything like that. It just requires you to put in a bit of practice and just learn how to memorize things. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to think about a simple route. Now, I'm going to use a route that's familiar to me, and it might be kind of, you can use it in your own life. I've got a route of a house I used to live in that had 3 bedrooms upstairs, a landing, some stairs, a hallway, a dining room, a sitting room, and a bathroom. And for some reason the bathroom was downstairs. It was an old-fashioned house. But that's the route of the house. So I've got bedroom 1, 2, 3, the landing, the stairs, the hallway, dining room, reception room, bathroom, kitchen. So if I start in, say, bedroom 1 and go to bedroom 2 and then bedroom 3, come out of bedroom 3, go to the landing, then go down the stairs, then go to the hallway, then go off to the sitting room, then to the bathroom, then to the dining room, and then in the kitchen, I've got a mental route. And because I know that house really well, it's very, very easy for me to imagine going in those rooms and down the stairs and out. So 9 steps. So pick a house that you may have lived in. Maybe just pick a route from where you live to maybe the local shops. Maybe you have to pass the garden gate, the telegraph pole, the light, the post box, the corner shop, whatever. It's going to be a route that's got 9 steps. So I'm assuming you've got something like that. If not, stop the tape, go and work this out. Just get 9 steps. Doesn't have to be overly complicated, just something that if you think about it, you'll remember that route. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to look at this script, this induction. So let's look at the first line. Would you like to find a spot that you can look at comfortably? Now what we're going to do is we're going to look at that sentence and we're going to think, what imagery could we get out of that sentence? Now I don't know about you, but I can't memorize just words like that on their own. I'm going to have to change them in some way to make them memorable. So first of all, I look at that and the first word, would. Right, so I'm going to change that from wood spelt like that to a big trunk of wood, like a tree trunk. Big lump of wood, right? So wood. So in my mind, I'm in bedroom 1. I see this big tree trunk, this big piece of wood. Find a spot, right? Okay. Spot. So now the tree trunk has a big white head on its face. And then look at comfortably. Well, what image can I come up for comfortably? Well, comfortably, now the tree trunk with this big spot is sitting down on the bed, resting comfortably. So now when I think going to that bedroom 1, there's a big tree trunk with a spot and comfortably. I now can pull back that sentence to go, would you like to find a spot that you can look at comfortably? You don't have to memorize every single word, just the key words that will give you enough to remind you of everything else. So the more bizarre you can make it, the better. So when you look at things about a word like wood, what could you translate that to? So for me, it's a big tree trunk. You might have a friend whose name is Wood, like Mr. Wood, have him. Spot, maybe you've got a dog called Spot. Comfortably, it could be something like that. Anything, but make it bizarre, make it memorable. So then we go into the second room. So now I'm in bedroom 2. As you continue to look at that spot for a while, do you notice your eyelids want to blink? Well, the first word that leaps off the page for me there is as. At the heart, I'm a schoolboy, so I see a big fat ass, right? To look at that spot. So again, I'm seeing this spot. Then, do your eyelids want to blink? So now I'm seeing these massive great eyes, big, big, big eyes in this room. So I've got a big ass with a spot on it, and then some big eyelids looking at it, blinking. Kind of memorable, right? Now, number 3. The word that leaps off the page straight away, and of course if you get the first words, that oftentimes triggers what comes afterwards. Will. Now, I've got a friend called Will. So will those lids begin to blink together or separately? So my friend Will is sitting there with 2 bin lids, dustbin bin lids. Ding, like on those old monkey things, right? Blink together or separately. So he's either doing it one at a time or like this, together or separately. So when I go into bedroom 3, there's my friend Will, ding, 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 making all this noise. Will those lids begin to blink separately or together. So now I come out of bedroom 3, now on the landing, slowly or quickly. What image could you come up with slowly or quickly? Well, you could have someone with a, like in the UK, we have street signs that have the thing that says slow. So I've got like a man standing there with a big sign that says slow, and I've got the roadrunner quickly shooting down from the landing. Slowly or quickly. Then we move down to the hallway. Again, we've got Will. So I've already got, when I think of the word Will, my friend's face comes up. So I think of Will. Now Will is now in the hallway, and in the hallway there's the door for the front door. Will they close all at once? Now Will is suddenly closing that door. Or flutter by themselves. Now, what image could you come up with flutter? Well, for me, as he slams the door, all these butterflies go, and there's like this great image of being like swamped with butterflies. So Will, see my friend Will, slamming the door, closing the door all at once, and then the butterflies. Then I go into the sitting room, and again we've got my friend Will. Will those eyes close more and more as you get more and more comfortable? Well, Will, I see my friend sitting there closing his eyes. Then we got more and more. What image could you come up with more and more for more and more? Well, for me, I come up with an image of Roger Moore. I don't know why. Roger Moore is James Bond. So when I see more and more, because this is a common phrase that often happens in hypnosis, and particularly the Ericsonia thing, more and more, I see Roger Moore and get more and more comfortable. And so Roger Moore is sitting back on the sofa, being really comfortable. So I've got my friend Will closing his eyes as Roger Moore gets more and more comfortable on the sofa. Then I go from there into the bathroom. I said the bathroom's on the ground floor, I don't know why, old house. First phrase, that's right. Well, as I've studied Ericksonian, if I see the word that's right, I'm thinking of Milton Erickson. So in my bathroom, there's Milton Erickson in his purple pajamas in a wheelchair. Can those eyes now remain closed as your comfort deepens? So there's the word can. Now straight away that conjures up an image to me of a can, like a tin can. So what if I have a tin can with a couple of eyes rolling around it? Yeah, I know, bizarre. Can those eyes remain closed as your comfort deepens? Now in the UK, we have a fabric softener called Comfort. So now I've got an image of Milton Erickson with a tin can with some eyes in it pouring fabric softener, Comfort fabric softener in it. Like when you go to sleep, and then Milton goes to sleep. Bizarre, I know, you know, but you've got to make this your own. I mean, this works for me because I'm obviously clinically insane, but use your own bizarre imagery. So now I come out of there and I'm now going into the dining room. Can that comfort? Well, I'm going to use that same image there. A can pouring Comfort fabric softener in it. Continue more and more. Hey, Roger Moore again. So that you would rather not even try to open your eyes. Now, when I see the word rather, I spent a lot of time in the States back in the 80s and 90s. For me, when I see the word rather, I'm reminded of the newscaster and the broadcaster, Dan Rather. So I'm seeing this journalist. So if you don't know who Dan Rather is, pick something else. But for me, I get an image of him. So now I have got the can with the comfort in, Roger Moore talking to Dan Rather, and then opening their eyes. And this image becomes memorable. And then the final step, in the kitchen, or. What image could you come up with or? Rowing oar. Or wood, and we're back to my friend up here, the tree trunk, Or would you rather, down rather again, try and find you cannot? To come up with an image for cannot. Now, for me, again, I'm going to put a can there because the word can just brings up that in there. So this is how you do it. You make it really bizarre. Now, you can do this with anything. If you get a route, this route has 9 steps. But on some of the complicated NLP techniques, there might be quite a few steps in. You know, it might be 15, 20 steps. Just get a route that has 15 or 20 steps. And what you do is you run through this once or twice. You plan it out like this, you visualize it as you're going through the route, you stop, take a break, then go back, mentally do it again with your piece of paper, mentally putting it in that route again, visualizing it there. Remember, make these images big and bright and colorful, most bizarre you can. Then what you do is you put your piece of paper down, close your eyes, and then you mentally run that route. You walk through that route and notice what's in bedroom 1, what's in bedroom 2, what's in bedroom 3, what's in bedroom 4. And this will trigger the memory of that. And so then do that a couple of times a day for the first day, couple of days, and then maybe once a week. Once you've done that, that is going to be in there for the rest of your life. So this is how you can memorize loads of information, how you can do away with all your script books and your technique books and your protocol books, memorize them so that when you're with your client and suddenly the client says something and you go, hang on a minute, I haven't got that in front of me. You can go, what route is that on? And then do that example. So you can memorize huge amount of techniques and protocols and inductions this way. And if once you commit them to memory, they will be there. Sometimes, the other day I had to do a process that I haven't done for about 10 years, but I knew where that memory was. And I just run it and straight away it came up and it's there. So this is a really powerful method. So if you want to memorize speeches, for those of you who want to do videos, for example, something like this, and you think, I'm never going to remember what I've got to say, put it on a route. Really simple. You don't need the like those things that the TV journalists have that have all the words zipping through, or you don't need to be sitting there reading your script. Just memorize what you're going to do and start speaking and mentally run that route as you're speaking. It becomes so much easier to do it this way. So have some fun with it. It takes a little bit of practice, but if you do this, you'll be able to memorize huge amounts of information and really not just improve your therapy practice, but also improve your life in general. Because, you know, if someone says to you, okay, here's a shopping list, can you go and pick up these things? Instead of writing everything down, you go, oh, okay, hang on, bedroom 1, this, bedroom 2, that, bedroom 3, that, and you'll remember everything. So this is a really powerful way of improving your memory, which will help you incredibly in your therapeutic practice. So if you like this technique and you want to learn more, remember to like and subscribe. And have a look at the membership channel as well, because there's loads of videos on there now. Probably about 120 videos, some of them a couple of hours long, really going into depth into NLP and hypnosis from about $4.99 a month. So have a look at those. It's really worthwhile having a look at those. So again, if you like and subscribe this video, please do so, and hope to see you in the future.